everything New Orleans Saints, New Orleans Pelicans, LSU Tigers, even the top flight boxing news. So if you're a Who Dat and you're looking for a place to stay up on your team, WhoDatDaily.com is your site. The WhoDatDaily.com for the sport Who Dat in all of us.
What's up, fam? This is Big Q from the Sports Coma. Much love to the family members. Appreciate y'all. The PRO Media Network is back at it again. Last year, we gave away several PS4s and games. So this year, we're raffling off a PS5. To enter for your chance to win, simply click the link below and fill out all the necessary information to be eligible. Sign up for the raffle. It's $25 to enter. You gain an opportunity to win a system, the PS5 system. Like I said, it's a one remote and everything in it that goes with the full system. These things are hard to come by. It could be yours. Into the raffle today, $25 get you in. There's also a deal when you buy more than one ticket that up your chances of winning. Jump in there. It benefits the platform as well. So feel free to sign up for the first annual PS5 raffle from the Pro Media Network. Thank you for participating and much love. Big ups to you.
Go Tigers, go Tigers, go Tigers, go Tigers, go Tigers.
Tiger Talk.
Go Tigers, go Tigers, go Tigers, go Tigers, go Tigers.
Tiger Talk.
Go Tigers, go Tigers, go Tigers, go Tigers, go Tigers.
Tiger Talk.
Go Tigers, go Tigers.
You're now listening to Tough Tiger Talk with Big Q and the guys on the Pro Media Network.
What's going on, fam? Tough Tiger Talk, we in the building. Big ups to the family members going across the LSU football fighting nation. Listen, man, we looking at this thing. Wasn't looking good. This one called LSU. LSU's no match for UCLA on the road. 38-27, man. We'll recap that thing here. Very disappointing, man. Watching this game, very disappointed on how the team performed in the loss to UCLA. Most certainly thought we can do a lot better than what the hell we did going up there doing that. We should have saved the damn fuel if we was going to cut up like this. I'm Big Q chiming in on this episode of Tough Tiger Talk. As you can see, I'm not liking what I saw today. UCLA is a good team, but they ain't that fucking good. Come on, I'm gonna bring in my contributor, my key contributor here. Kevin, GM Kev is in the building as well. Kev, welcome on in, my friend. This was not good, man. This was not good. Not a very good football game to watch. Drop touchdown passes. Johnson backpedaling off his feet, blitz constantly in his face. The offensive line was disgusting. That offensive line was trash, man. And of course, we'll probably get berated by commentary about the fact that, we coming out of, a lot of turmoil happened this past week. Well, guess what, man? Guess what life is about? Guess what the lessons of life is about? It's surmounting, it's getting on top and winning despite obstacles that's facing you. Shit, I don't even have internet right now, but I had to rig up something to talk to y'all about the LSU Football Tigers. But see, that's what you got to do. You can't let these obstacles prevent you. You must succeed by all costs. We didn't do that today. 38-27. We go down to a UCLA team that's not that good. These people look like world beaters compared to what we did, and it's just pathetic. And I'm gonna go over the statistics in a second, but let me get your analysis coming in originally, bro. Big ups to you.
Man, it's good to be here, Q. But I was more impressed today with Tulane, even though in the loss.
Yes, indeed.
Loss. Yes, absolutely. Indeed. They was playing with fire, and for them to be that close to win against an opponent like that, I was like, man, they got something special with the quarterback down their way, man. But this LSU game, it seems like last year bleeding over. You made a lot of changes, a lot of coaching. New recruits coming in, but we're getting the same results. What's going on? So that hot seat for Coach O is getting warmer. This is not a good look, Q. Offensive line had questions coming in. They got beat mostly throughout the game. Defensive line at first to me was hanging in there pretty tough, but when your second and third levels are constantly giving up big plays, man, it's like those body blows in boxing. and you get hit with them time and time again, you're gonna fall. And that's what really happened, man. So you got a young quarterback throwing almost 50 times a game. Not a recipe for winning, Q. I'm just so disappointed, and it's only one game, but we didn't represent the SEC good this week, bro.
No, we didn't, man, and it was disappointing. And like you said, Kev, astutely mentioned in Tulane, man, they had a hell of a game up against
Yes, they
the
did.
second-ranked Oklahoma
Yes,
Sooners,
they did, man.
and they put it. They were really encouraging, man. But LSU, who has all of the resources and all of this recruiting, didn't end up well like we thought. Now let's go over the statistics here, and this one here. It's intriguing. But Max Johnson, 26 of 46 for 330, 3 touchdowns and 1 pick in the game. TD Price had 13 carries for 30 yards in the matchup. 11 carries by Johnson for 21 yards on the scrambles. And Williams had 1 for 2. So really, UCLA just one-dimensionalized LSU's offense, forcing Max Johnson to be the one that tried to carry him. And he did throw for 330 with 3 touchdowns in a losing effort. But then, of course, a garbage time touchdown kind of made it appear a little closer than what it was. But no running attack. And the question was going into the season, can LSU's running attack get back on par from, the championship year? Last year, we didn't have our running attack carrying us like it was supposed to. On the back end, we started kind of running the ball, but this is not a good look for our rushing attack, because we're going to need the rushing attack this year to help out Johnson. You look at Keyshawn Butte had 14 targets, 14 targets, 9 catches, 148 yards. He had 3 touchdowns. So you see Johnson and Butte got the connection going right there. Palmer had 7 catches off of 4 targets, 47 yards, 3 for Jenkins for 46. Moore had 3 for 32. Thomas had 1, and Beck had 1 in the matchup. Now, defensively speaking, we'll talk about that a little later, but you can see UCLA's numbers with their quarterback, Thompson. He was 9 of 16 for 260, 3 touchdowns. This guy had 260 yards against the secondary of LSU and 3 touchdowns against them. Zach Charbonnet was like he was Marcus Allen or somebody out there. He was absolutely monstrous for this team. Anytime we looked like we had UCLA's running attack stopped, Charbonnet would have a big run. And even Brown came in and almost had 100 yards rushing against him. So Charbonnet put up 117 in the score. Brown put up 17 carries for 95 yards and 1 score as well. And if you look at the overall statistics here, you can see that they put up 260 yards against the secondary of the Tigers defense, and of course 210 rushing yards on the defense. A grand total of 470 yards worth of offense UCLA put on the LSU Fighting Tigers defense. That was awful. 200 yards rushing is absolutely awful. And and then of course you'll hear whispers of Bo Pelini. But I mean, listen, this was terrible, man. In any facet that we could, when we had them 3rd and long, then they'll gash you with a big play. LSU offensive line it's just pathetic, man. Our defense just got kind of tired, I guess, toward the back end and started surrendering plays. That heartless, gutless play toward the back end that gave UCLA their last touchdown was pathetic. A defensive back missed the tackle, and then the defensive back, number 7, should have wrangled them down, but allowed him to break free for a touchdown because he's too busy trying to strip away at the ball. I mean, it was just a comedy of errors. So, Kev, speak to that, man.
Q, I think, man, I'm just still like trying to, take it all in and try to think like, what did I see? Like, is there another issue going on? Like, because it's the same things happening, Q. The communication is not there. I don't want to say it's talent, because I think they have talent, but something is wrong, because you see these things that happen. It's happening just right now, the first game. You think about last year, and what struck me is the big plays, and they consistently coming against the defense in the back end. So, I was thinking like maybe somewhere in the game they would have. I've been hearing about Dwight McLaughlin. Why didn't he get a chance? Because clearly anybody you got on the third corner was getting toasted all game, and they just kept going there. I'm like, okay, well, when you make a change, why? You putting the game on a young quarterback that hasn't started much, still learning. You want him to beat actually Joe Burrow. It's the same offense from 2 years ago, which I said even before this season that if they try to run that, they're not going to be successful because you don't have those players. That was something special. You can't keep recreating something that's special. Some things you shouldn't remix, Q, and that was one of them. So I'm not surprised. I'm disappointed, but I was hoping that we had learned or try to figure out how can we better utilize Max Johnson's skill set because he's a lefty and he uses his feet a lot. But to have him in the pocket consistently and trying to run an offense from 2 years ago, it's not working. It wasn't working last year when you was going through three quarterbacks. It's not going to work this year, Q.
Yeah, it was horrible, man, to say the least. His numbers, kind of, I guess, took the sting out of it. But really, the offensive line to me, and a lot of it was okay. Joe Burrow. I mean, I say Joe Burrow. Max Johnson, step back, making throws 2 seconds. Okay, getting the ball out because the offensive line was trash. I mean, the offensive line could not keep the UCLA defensive line off of the guys. Couldn't do it. It was a freaking joke of epic proportions. To watch our offensive line was trash, man. In this one, it was absolutely trash. We could not run. We couldn't establish the run because the offensive line could not gain any dominance.
There you go. You're not moving anybody. But my whole thing, Q, with it too. Okay, so in the first couple of series, when you've seen that happen, why didn't we adjust? It seems like we came out and basically said, okay, this is our game plan. This is what we're going to do. This is who we are. But the in-game adjustments, I didn't feel was there. And I mean, who does that fall on? They got to fall on the head coach, right, Q?
That's right.
Okay. So, so a lot of people that's Coach O fans, and I understand why they are fans. But at the same time, we got to call out when it's not right. And right now, for the last year and one game into 2021, it's not right, bro. It's not right. It's not even close to being right because you're going to play a lot of more teams that's way more dominant than UCLA. Yes. If we struggling against UCLA, bro, 5-5 would have been a treat looking at what might be happening this year. I don't even – it'd be lucky to get 5 games this year, Q. We're going to show this performance every week. Man, it'll be a stretch, bro.
Yeah, this was not a good performance, LSU. And, of course, what was even more disastrous is the fact that the Tigers had multiple times in the red zone to make plays in which things simply didn't happen. Yep. Passes were thrown behind, bad thrown passes off a back foot behind wide receivers' balls. I mean, it was just a joke of epic proportion, and we squandered opportunities to get in the end zone to keep the game competitive. They forced LSU twice into field goal situations where LSU should have had touchdowns there, and had that been the case, we would have won this contest. So, I mean, like I said, they were blitzing the hell out of Max Johnson. He looked like a deer in front of headlights. He was shook. I seen a shookness in him.
He threw the ball behind his back. I'm like, what are you doing?
Never seen nothing of the sort. But that's a shook-ass quarterback do stuff like that.
Yep.
He shook.
He young and shook.
UCLA put the pain on him. They was blitzing at him. And a lot of those blitzes I was asking, I know he has to be able to see those blitzes or see them pre-snap and to make an adjustment, because we could have took advantage several times when they were blitzing. Like there was a pass where Max Johnson threw the ball into the ground where it could have actually been a play that could have been a big play for us. So, I mean, a lot of suspect things that I've seen, just not a good look for LSU to start the year off as we can't keep up with UCLA early. So hopefully, man, we can change all this around going into of course, we have lesser competition, but starting the year off losing 38-27 to a UCLA team that most people would look at and say, hey, this team is not a world-beaten team, but
Yeah,
we couldn't stop Charbonnet. We couldn't stop their number one, their quarterback. He threw for 260. We couldn't stop them. Their running backs and their team rushed for 200 yards on LSU's defense. And by the way, we got a new defensive coordinator who's supposed to stop a lot of that. So, like I
But
said early on, it's not a good impression.
Is it because, okay, let's look at it like this. Can we say that it could be certain talent because, okay, now you've expanded the SEC, so, and you look at prior, okay, Alabama's getting Louisiana recruits, Oklahoma's getting them, Texas getting them. So is it a point that we're not getting the best guys in state, recruits?
The LSU's classes are some of the best in college. They're either a top 5 or top 6 recruit class. So if anything, Coach O definitely knows how to recruit. So I don't think it's
not that
recruiting issue. I think it's an execution issue. I think it's them executing and doing the proper things like the fundamentals, stopping the run and establishing the run. That's something we simply didn't do. And when you don't establish the run, you don't stop the run, and then what you do is you miss tackles, several opportunities that they blown tackles that was converted into scores. Had LSU made the proper tackles that were fundamental, we would have won this game. So, I mean, even though the penalties was down, but that was of no use to us winning practically, because on the end of it, the execution is the thing. We got to be able to execute the scheme properly. We didn't do that. LSU allowed them to rush over 200 yards on them on the ground and throw for over 260 yards. Missed a bunch. Stingley missed the tackle at the end of the game. Tolls it all. Stingley cannot do that. You are a top level corner in college. You cannot.
And he knows better. And that's okay. So is this a fair question to ask? Has Coach O lost the locker room or lost the confidence in some players between after 2019 up until now, Q?
I don't think he's lost the locker room. I think, like I said, I have to bring it back to fundamentalism. It's tied to them execute. Now, he did shake his entire staff around, bring in new defensive line personnel, a defensive line coach, and Carter. He brought in the new defensive coordinator. He brought in new offensive coordinator, new passing game coordinator. So, I mean, he shook up a lot of different things in an attempt to try to reestablish what they had a couple of years ago in our championship run. But what we seen today, what they attempted to try to do was simply not the thing that needs to happen. I mean, to be honest with you, what we watched out there, they just barely put up 28 points, and they got the last one on the back end of the game. That's not what Joe Brady's counterfeit Sean Payton offense supposed to look like. I mean,
exactly. He's not there anymore.
Flawless, right?
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. If he's not there anymore, and let's hypothetically say if he was there, wouldn't you think 2 years later he would have wrinkles? Right, he wouldn't be running the exact same thing he did 2 years ago. So that's why I'm so confused. Like, okay, the guy hasn't been here in almost 2 years now. Why are we still duplicating this? Okay, I understand it was successful and it fit with the talent we had. But to run the same offense every year, Q, same lineup, same alignment, I mean, people would start getting like tendencies, So that's why I'm thinking, like, why are we haven't changed this up? What is wrong with putting the fullback out there for lead blocks and helping the running back get to some holes, some ground and pound, some physicality there? I mean, that would probably give your offensive linemen some confidence when they can go out and run block and put their body on people instead of always being on their back heels if you passing almost 50 times. And you seen they were struggling with it. So that's why I was just like, okay, well, why we keep airing this out? We don't have time. Can we slip a big run up in there if they're gonna blitz? Catch somebody slipping in one of those holes, open up, and that's what UCLA did. So I'm just confused about this, man. Like, it has to go to Coach O, man, because you shook up staff. You got new recruits in, but the same results. So I don't have no answer, Q. I don't, against lesser competition, we should win next week, but that wasn't the issue. We was on prime time today. And like you said, with what happened with the current week in Louisiana, we all know this was I didn't see the fire. I didn't see it, Q. It was just like guys, I think some of these guys think they just good than what they are. They still living off 2 years ago. Like we LSU, and you should lay down. We told you weeks ago, me, Mozzy, you yourself, that UCLA taking this very personal because they've been hearing the chats that LSU and the SEC and blah, 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 they're going to come down here and dominate them. They was taking this very personal. I don't know how LSU took it, but they was ready for this game, bro, and it showed. You there, Q? Okay, well, Q stepped away, but yeah, this is still very disappointing. Man, you hate to start a season 0-1 against a team I think you should have beat at least by 10 or more points. They wasn't ranked. I think you got some people that really like LSU to rank you at 16 after coming off a 5-5 season. And how do you go out and just blow this? I have no answer. I have no answer. I don't think they have answers. No, man. And the SEC is more competitive. You add in 2 more teams that's going to be hungry. That's going to steal some of your recruits because they can make that pitch now. We're in the SEC. So why should teams come to LSU now instead of going to Oklahoma? You know, yeah, but this is what you wanted, Q. You wanted the SEC to expand. This is what you're going to get. And we went out and lost to a Pac-12 team out there. So something to sleep on right there. Well, yeah, Q. Okay, Q still stepping away. So maybe he having some technical difficulties, but I don't know. John, you're right. The offensive line did get beat up. They got beat up all game. And how successful can you be if you keep getting beat up for 4 quarters? No running game, no time in the pocket to pass, turnovers, young quarterback. You know, he got rattled. You know, your secondary is just all in shambles. I mean, they giving up big plays left and right, 70 here, 40 there, 50 there. And it takes a lot out you when you're giving up plays like that, you know. And you look at Alabama up here, they looking like world beaters. They just taking the number 14 team in the country and beating them really in the first quarter, you know. And we going against an unranked team out there and struggling just to be respectable. So I don't know, man. You tell me, John. True, what's up, man? How you feeling? Who else we got in the house? Y'all comment. Let me know what y'all was seeing. Maybe we looking at this wrong, you know? Maybe I'm looking at it wrong, but I don't think so because, you know, it was on TV and we all seen it. So it's hard to sugarcoat it, you know? And somebody gouging you for 70 yards and everybody's looking confused. So I don't know what's going on with this. Mozzy, Q, where y'all at?
Yeah,
we back?
Kev. Yeah. Had a little
Nah,
drop off.
we still talking and running it, man, asking
Good
questions, trying to figure out what did we really see.
Good deal. I had a little internet drop off, man.
I figured
it's
that,
kind of
yeah.
spotty a bit, but appreciate you keeping it up, Kev. But yeah, I heard you. With you're absolutely right on that. We just have to. This is the first game. It's not a good. And listen, the pressure for Coach O to win this year cannot be understated. That he has to win this year and to lose in the fashion that he did to UCLA, a Pac-12 team, being beat by them. They handled LSU's offensive line. They remade the offensive line, the scrimmage. They neutralized the rushing attack, and that was questions going into the season. What kind of rushing attack would LSU have? UCLA just absorbed everything that they had and then dished out over 200 yards rushing on LSU's new remade defense. Made it look like Bo Pelini was running it. I mean, so it was.
He's somewhere saying, "I told you it wasn't my fault."
In the first one, so it's insane, man. What I was saying, I was so frustrated.
Yeah,
in the performance, man. The drop passes, all of the drop passes, the 2 drop end zone touchdowns that could have made a difference. The penalty during the field goal, which was erased and made into a punt. It was just a comedy of errors. I don't like it. But Coach O has I seen her. I hear you, John. Big ups to John. John was saying about Coach O joking with the officials and all that kind of stuff. And of course, they will paint this as, listen, this is his first game. We had to get away because of the storm. And
I ain't trying to hear that, man. We ain't trying to hear that.
No, we ain't trying to hear that, man. Because listen, I'm dealing with the damn storm. You know, I had power lines down and internet disconnected. Hell, I just lost internet right here where I couldn't. But then I just say, you know what? We got to stop. We can't do it. Nah, you got to keep on. You got to move. That's how winners think. That's how winners move. So, I mean, there's no excuses for this terrible, ridiculous ass loss. This was terrible. I don't like it, but they're going to paint it as just the first game of the season and moving forward. So they'll have lesser competition moving ahead, Kev. So, I mean, like I said, this was awful, man. I don't like it. It stinks to me. And I think LSU need to be ashamed of themselves how they went up there and misrepresented what we were supposed to. I mean, this UCLA team is not that good, man.
They not that, you know, and it's scary, Q, because if they don't find out what's wrong, you're going to have it's going to be more dominant teams you're going to play against that's going to actually expose that second and third level of your defense, because I'm seeing so many holes, miscommunication, not tackling, not being physical, not really giving the effort. You know, I'm looking at guys like you see a running back get into the open field, man, grab him and tackle him. Just don't wait till he get to you. You're trying to like just throw hands. You know, tackle, hit. I mean, I don't know, Q. Is this I can't put my finger on what's really going on, bro. But I tell you what, it's got to be like one of those fast colds that come in and leave quick overnight, because this keeps bleeding over and you playing against these teams next week and the week after that's not supposed to be on your level, and they somehow hang around in the ballpark and you're winning by 3 points or 7 points or even 10 points. People going to start looking at you like, you know what, we think LSU done lost it. Or coaching stuff got to be changed or something. Something ain't right. You're going 2 straight years after a championship season, and, you know, we don't know how this is going to play out yet, but it ain't off to a good start, you know. So, man, he on that hot seat. That seat, it got hotter tonight, bro. Much hotter.
Yeah, this was not the type of performance that you want to see the Tigers have, man. I mean, after everything, the shifting the line, the naming of the new offensive coordinator, passing game coordinators, the shifting up of everything, coaches, all new coaches all over the place, the recruits, pretty good recruiting class that came in to help what you had originally, and this is what you turn out against a Pac-12 UCLA team, you know, who's not really that good. Yeah, right, unranked team. You what were we? 16th ranked, 16th ranked in the nation. So,
and I was making that comparison, like, you know, you look at a team like Alabama that's playing against Miami that was ranked 14. They basically beat them in the first quarter, and we struggling. Yeah, we struggling just to be respectable against an unranked team. I'm like, you got to be kidding me, bro. But and I like Coach O, bro. I do. But look, man, we're gonna need results this year, bro. No excuses, man.
Yeah, pressure. Last year was 5-5 season on the back end. The C19 was a major excuse for that. That kind of helped him. Everybody, and remember when Coach O came into this upcoming season this year, he changed everything except for himself. So I mean, what do you point at then? Because you don't have Bo Pelini to lean on because of how bad his defense. He was the obvious choice. But to not be able to rush the ball, you know, only have 53 rushing yards against the UCLA defense, and allow them to put up 470 yards on your defense is not good. So, I mean, yeah, this is not a good thing for Coach O. But going forward, after this one, man, a lot of the fans. Let me give a big shout out to the Tiger Chat. Big ups to the family members for being in the building. True, I see your fam, True Louisiana. KK, what's up, baby? Who that to you? Big ups to you.
KK, what's up?
What's good with you? John, brother John, much love to you, fam, as well. AH is in the building as well. Much love to the fam. And appreciate y'all chiming in on this episode of Tough Tiger Talk, man. I wish we had better news to give you guys, because I really, in my estimation, going into the season, I thought LSU had a good chance to beat UCLA, and I knew Chip Kelly was there, and they like running the system. But this is what happened when you don't execute. I mean, they were missing tackles, they missed several tackles that led to touchdowns. You can't do that. I mean, the tight end, they blew three. What was it? 2 missed tackles with the tight end, and then the last guy throws them into the end zone.
But you know what, Q? I knew we were in trouble. I can't remember exactly when. I knew it was in the first half. I don't know if it was late in the first or the second quarter. I seen how the defensive coordinator, his game plan was. It was to rush Max Johnson, make him beat you. And when I seen he was getting frustrated, I said, "Oh man, they got us, bro." Once you see if you're a defensive coach and you see you got the quarterback shaking like that, we blitzing the whole game until he beat us. We're gonna keep blitzing. Every now and then you might give up a little something, but as long as we keep on scoring, we got him, because eventually he gonna make that turnover. That's what they bet on, and that's what happened.
He was so shook, man. They were popping him and knocking him around. He couldn't even make wide open throws.
He throwing the ball behind him like a magician and everything. I'm like, dude, what the hell are you doing?
Yeah, throwing the ball behind him and easy throws, easy plays that he could have obviously made, couldn't make.
In the ground.
Throw it in the ground. So I was like, they rattled him so much so where they felt that they did what they were supposed to do.
They're not even a top 20 defense, bro.
But that's what happens when you execute, and they do. They were playing with a lot of energy at home, and they had a lot of Tiger people that went out there to support the team. Mm-hmm. And there was a lot of emotional energy behind LSU, but that means nothing if you can't convert that into your control and fundamentally dominate on the field. They could not move UCLA's defensive line, and UCLA's defensive line manhandled LSU's offensive line. Bottom line, the whole night. You couldn't run the ball, and they kept Max Johnson pressure in his face all day to make tough throws. And most of the throws, some of those he made, he found Butte 3 times for scores. But that really was about time he started to find a rhythm. It was way too late. The game was well beyond him. So I mean, 24 points in the second half by UCLA helps move them right past LSU. Was only able to put up 17, and the fact that we stumbled and converted, took like I said, 2 touchdowns, 2 field goals, which should have been touchdowns, were drop touchdowns. And of course, the penalty that removed a field goal that was into a punt, that's a whole nother situation. Anyway, it was a comedy of errors. It was terrible. It was awful. It was garbage time. And now we got to move forward. So up ahead, Kev, the Tigers get a foe who they might be able to beat, McNeese State, on Saturday, September the 11th at 7 p.m., according to the numbers here. Then they have McNeese State, so they might be able to get a win against McNeese State. And Central Michigan follows them up. So before we start getting into our SEC schedule with Mississippi State and all them, but McNeese State and Central is 2 teams that they probably going to end up beating up on before we get into our SEC schedule. So I don't like how this game went. I thought we should have hammered this team to death. We should have beat the hell out of this team. But unfortunately, it ended the way it did. 38-27, LSU, no match for UCLA on the road.
Hey, let me ask you this too. What's going on with John Emery? Because they say he was out because of academic reasons. When did that transpire?
That was rather fast because that kind of took me off guard too, Kev.
I was like, what?
Yeah, that kind of took me off guard. I wasn't anticipating him happen. I think that happened a couple of days ago.
Yeah,
that might have leaked out, but it was that was kind of fast.
But this is the crazy thing, Q. Like, we keep recruiting a lot of running backs, but we're not really using them to their full potential. We're still lining them up in a one type of offense. It's the same offense 2 years ago, Q. The same lineup. If you look at it, it's actually exact. You could go back and look at that game tape and see why Jefferson and all these other guys was lining up, Marshall and all them. and you look at this game, they're lining up exactly the same. I'm thinking like, okay, but these guys we have now, they're not on that level yet. So why are we running this offense?
That
It seems like it caters more of to a right-handed quarterback. To me, it seems like it.
it's
I don't know.
I mean, it's that offense is supposed to be a quarterback friendly system. It predicates itself on spreading out defenses, getting the ball out early to the so the quarterback don't take a lot of pressure. Now, if you see it in this game, you see Max Johnson hold the ball a little longer than what he was supposed to hold the ball because he was trying to make some plays happen.
Yep.
It wasn't in, and of course, like we seen some really nasty shots. One of the defenders for UCLA popped him in his chest and knocked him down.
Mm-hmm.
He had the deer in the headlights kind of early and often, and you seen it where he couldn't make even simple throws that could help. He had one throw he could have hit. If he would hit him on, that would have been an easy touchdown, but he threw it into the ground. So it was just he just simply didn't have it. This is not a really good example of how to run that style of offense. But like I said, Joe Brady is not there anymore, and peas and mangas will have to be able to bring their rendition of it to LSU because it was not a match for UCLA. If it was ran properly, this game would have been blown open. We'd have pinned our ears back and went after their quarterback. I mean, so it just wasn't a good look. Now, of course, here's the article from Gold 24/7, which speaks about a couple of starters being ruled out with Emory Jr., Jared Small, Jontre Kirkland, Suna Forney, and defensive back Dwight McGuthern all mentioned as out.
Why?
And Emory, who was nicked up in fall, was said to be practicing with the team. Spoke with the media earlier this week, and Stingley was out there, and and of course he talked about a few other things. But let me see. He said with starting running back TD Price and Emory both missing stretches to practice in the preseason, the same 5 starters on the offensive line will be hurdles. But see, and that's another thing that they talked about as well. Is like what the hell's going on with the offensive line? That was supposed to be a big strength for LSU. Was the offensive line. Offensive lines, being together for several seasons was supposed to help LSU moving forward. It most certainly didn't. They were outclassed and just shoved it. I mean, they were pathetic out there, man. I was so disappointed in what these guys couldn't do, and they let that Pac-10 defensive line run their asses out of there. And I was like, man, we the SEC. We can't let the freaking Pac-12 do this to us. And it is what it is, man. So we just have to see. 70 Strat says Stingley made most of those Bruins look like his daddy, Devontae Smith tonight. Yeah, and then of course the last play, like the touchdown that they had when he was wrestling with the guy, just get the guy and put him on the ground,
right?
And allowed them to happen. But it was like their defense gave up. I mean, I'm gonna just be honest with you. They gave up. They were being gashed. The number 24, and of course the other running back. What's his name? Brown. Those guys were just manhandling them. Like I said, 210 yards rushed on LSU's defense and 260 yards thrown on them. So, I mean, they gave, and of course, that's just the statistics. Then you talk about 3 touchdowns thrown on the secondary and 2 rushing touchdowns given up by the defense as a whole. That's 5 touchdowns the defense surrendered today against UCLA. I mean, this UCLA is not a good team. This is not a super talented team to be doing this type of stuff. I mean, that's the whole thing. Now they feeling themselves. Now they feeling like we can.
Oh yeah, they done something because this was they big bowl game to them. This was the show that I hear y'all talk about the SEC, but we got players over here too. So this was more than just we playing against a top-ranked opponent, a respectable opponent. This is about y'all don't respect us as a conference. And we about to show y'all how we do over here. I mean, they was talking about all this weeks and weeks before the season, and I'm like, okay, I'm hoping LSU take this serious. And I'm not going to say they didn't take it serious, Q, but it's just some things that we can't still put our finger on. We don't know why we still getting the results to a degree. Like you say, it's execution, but it's got to be something more deeper than that because you go watch game tape, you watch practice film, you see things you're doing wrong, the same results are happening. So somebody got to be accountable for that. Somebody got to be like, hey, I'm putting the message out there. They're just not taking my message. And you got to make changes if that keeps happening.
Yeah, this is true, man. None of this was fundamental. None of this was what we were supposed to be representing LSU football, man. Especially after last season, what we did and how we went down 5-5 in the season, and then come out at the start of the season with all the additions and just lay an egg like this.
Man, Tulane game was much more exciting, bro.
Yeah, I mean, that's what LSU's game should have been. That's the type of energy LSU should have. I mean, Tulane was fighting their ass off in that game, and that's a number 2 team in the nation, according to the polls. So I mean, that was I got to give Tulane some credit. We don't often talk. I ain't talk about Tulane since we was in the second season of doing the sports cone. We just talk about Tulane. They haven't really given us much to talk about.
I know, but we don't give them no love. But today, bro, they was on, they had some spotlight, and that people was expecting Oklahoma to, put up 50 or 60 to 3. You know how they usually go. Right. But Tulane was like, nah, bro, we coming up here trying to take this, and bro, they was like inches away, inches.
Yeah.
From making one of the biggest upsets in NCAA history. If they would have pulled that off, bro, woo, it'd been the record books, man. But but LSU, it's no excuse for that, because you get the better recruits than Tulane does, and for you to go out there and lay an egg is unacceptable, bro.
Yeah, this was awful. This was very awful, fam. I mean, I was pissed watching the game. I wanted a better outing. I didn't want you to go out there and if you lose a close game, then I can live with that. But this was none of the sort.
People quit. We've seen guys quit, Q.
Yeah, and
we've seen guys quit.
Right.
And that's a reflection on the coaching staff too. They always say that, like, if guys are quitting, then that reflection of they're not listening to the head coach, because when you have a respectable head coach, even though if you're getting blowed out, you're getting beat, guys are still out there giving their all. Q, you will see it on tape. They might not be as talented as the other team, but they're trying. They're giving effort. I'm seeing guys loafing, trying to tackle their ankles and just missing everybody. The communication, I don't see the togetherness there. It's just guys that that's out there. So is it a combination of first year guys being in the secondary, not enough playing time? Could be. But man, this is not a good look, bro, because UCLA, they're not known for doing this. They don't have an explosive offense if people think they do. We just wasn't that good in the back end, and we still thinking like, why? We made all these changes. Top recruiting class, same results.
Embarrassment. This was pathetic, LSU. And I think the biggest thing moving forward, now, of course, it won't be a problem against McNeese State or Central Michigan, which is the next couple of games that we have coming up with lesser foes, is the establishment of the rushing attack. Now, of course, we know Emory wasn't there. He's usually the guy that we would go to. Maybe things would have been different with Emory. I doubt that. The LSU offensive line did not give TD Price an opportunity to get out there and shine. That line was pathetic.
Yeah, they were
gutless. They were gutless. They were awful. They couldn't keep pressure off of the quarterback, and they could not open up lanes for the running attack. And basically UCLA's defense neutralized LSU's offense, made them one-dimensional, and then once that was over with, that was a done data. And on the other side, our defense could not neutralize their rushing attack, which you allowed 200 yards, or their passing attack, we let 260 yards. They basically moved the ball however and whenever they wanted to do. So I mean, it's just questions about the defense and whether or not they're picking up what needs to happen, because I'm not going to say they look as bad as a Bo Pelini-led defense, but it does bring into question LSU's defenses with all the talent that they have should not be surrendering 460 goddamn yards and 5 touchdowns against UCLA.
Exactly.
So, I mean, that's not supposed to happen.
Nope.
And we also are supposed to be good enough, if anything, to run the ball where we can balance the offense against UCLA. I mean, it's just one of those things. I was watching the highlights from Alabama and them tearing up the people that they're tearing up and not playing around with bullshit ass Pac-10 teams They're the bottom feeders in their own conference.
Yeah,
So
man, Alabama would have demolished these dudes, man. And that's what I'm saying. Like they went and played a respectable foe in a younger Miami team that's still learning in another conference, ACC. They went out there and represented the SEC. It was over in the first quarter, bro. Like really, And looking at it like LSU should have had a similar performance, and to go out there and struggle, miscommunicate, give up, not paying attention, the effortless. Man, it's not a good feeling, Q. It's not. So what you need to do the next couple of games is dominate these teams you're supposed to, gain some confidence, and hopefully when you start getting back in the SEC, you can make some noise, and this will be just like one of those fluke, hopefully, games. But I don't know. We got to wait and see, bro.
Yeah, this one is it. LSU no match for UCLA on the road, 38-27. The next matchup is September 11th against McNeese State, followed by a Central Michigan matchup against lesser foes, which LSU more than likely could dominate. And then the third matchup will be against Mississippi State to open up our SEC schedule. So
let me ask you this, Q.
Not a good look starting the season.
Do you think after just week one, and I think I got the answer, I want to hear your comment on it. Could Tulane compete if they was going against LSU this year? Would it be a close game?
Based on what I've seen tonight, of course, I would say anybody got opportunity against LSU if they play like this. But when their heads screwed on straight, I think it'll be. I think LSU beats Tulane. It'll be a competitive game, but I think LSU beats Tulane. But Tulane is playing with confidence to be able to go against the number 2 team in the nation. Like, listen, we could beat you guys, and they were competitive. They lost today in points, but in the end, they lost to a better team. But this was the second best team rank wise in the country. So what that happens when they go back home, they're gonna sit to say, listen, we play, and they just gave Coach Freeze just gave him an extension. So I mean that he's putting together something special at Tulane, offensively speaking and defensively speaking. Remember, we talked about several components and pieces that left into the draft that they brought together that really is kind of moving that thing in the right direction. So like I said, I think Tulane is going to be a team that that's going to compete. But LSU, this is where the LSU is the best college football wise. A lot of people think in the state of Louisiana. This was not a good representation tonight against UCLA. Losing like that, this was just disgusting to me. So I mean, looking ahead, McNeese State is the one that's on the docket, and I don't anticipate them not having problems with them at all. They should be able to beat McNeese State and Central Michigan. But yes, Coach O is a lot of people are saying that Coach O is on the seat down. He's on the heat seat. Yeah. Most certainly he's on the heat seat. Yeah. He's definitely on the seat, no doubt about it. He needs to have, and I ain't talking about a 5-5 season. He needs to have a really good season where he's been given opportunities. He had the recruiting class. We got his offense, the offense that won him the championship. They got to make it happen this year. I mean, everybody changed except for Coach O. So, like I said, he's on the hot seat. You can't be losing to Florida and Alabama this year and expecting to keep that job. It turns sour real quick at Baton Rouge.
No, yeah, you're right about that. I mean, and I think it's like not only losing, it's the performance you put up there, because those games going to be the highlight games of the week. It's going to be all the coverage, and people are going to be talking about it. They're going to break the games down. So when you go out there and you start quitting, and that's not going to be a good look, bro. Because I mean, these guys quit against UCLA, bro. And I'm not trying to disrespect UCLA, but you quitting against them, bro. Man, look, we got some issues to work out, Q. It's still early, so let's give them the benefit of the doubt. But man, this is a sour taste, bro. This is a sour taste, because we was expecting to be somewhere close to probably trying to get into that playoff bracket to try to compete for a chip. But, starting off losing against an unranked team, how far are you going to fall in the polls? Probably almost close to out of the polls, right? 24, maybe?
Damn
yeah.
I mean, damn near you're going to be at the bottom 25 to 30. If not ranked, knocked out of the rankings, period. But you get one. in some cases. So early on in the year, they lost one here. So I mean, but they gave up their one. They can't afford to just be losing to Mississippi States and all these other peoples. They got to be able to take care of business and make it count. So I mean, LSU, man, this is not a good look here. But I'm gonna give you the flow, Kev, for your final commentary before we end the stream, my friend.
Oh yeah, man. Like like what I said, we all disappointed, but we try to be reasonable fans and give them benefit of the doubt. Like, okay, we still got time to make this happen, to make it work. You still trying to have faith in Coach O vision, but every week that goes by, it's it's fading a little because it's like, hey, man, we're getting the same results, and this shouldn't be happening at LSU. We have a legacy of the last 20 years of dominating, especially in primetime games, and a place you never really went to your first time in history and laid this egg against a Pac-10 opponent that says, like, hey, we've been telling y'all we just as good as the SEC if we get an opportunity. And, so they shut a few people up tonight, on that subject to a degree. So just got to sit back and see what happens, bro.
Yep. And they definitely did that. Right now, they've definitely got the win right now. They're feeling good about themselves, and they deserve it, man. They handled business. LSU did not handle business, and they deserve to lose, the bottom line. So, with that being said, we're going to step out on that. I'd like to thank everybody for joining us in the Tough Tiger Talk chat. Much love to you guys. Please feel free to hit the like button. Please feel free to share the show on your social media feed with other LSU football family members out there as well. And subscribe if you're not a subscriber, and join the Tough Tiger Talk podcast. It's like I said, this is it's a tough one, family. We opened up the 2021 year with a loss to LSU on the road. LSU opened up with a loss to UCLA on the road, 38-27. They're 0-1. The next matchup is September 11th against McNeese State. So, so we'll see how that all goes as well. Hopefully that'll be a win. So with that being said, I'd like to thank my contributor, Kev. Thanks for popping in, my friend. Appreciate that. Hope it was on better circumstances. I'd like to thank the rest of the family members for tuning in the live show and in the replay. Y'all, please feel free to put in the comments section below what you guys think. I want to hear from you. I want to hear in the Tough Tiger Talk chat in the comment section. What do you guys think? Why LSU? Why did they lose? What do you guys think about that? What caused LSU to lose to an unranked UCLA club on the road, 38-27? Put that in the comments section, and we'll read that on the next show. So with that being said, I appreciate you guys for chiming in, and we'll holler at you guys later. Kev, much love to you, my friend, and I'll holler at you later. Peace. Go Tigers.
TheWhoThatDaily.com. That's right, TheWhoThatDaily.com. Your one-stop shop for everything New Orleans Saints, New Orleans Pelicans, LSU Tigers, even the top flight boxing news. So if you're a Who That and you're looking for a place to stay up on your team, TheWhoThatDaily.com is your site. TheWhoThatDaily.com for the sport Who That in all of us.
What's up, family? everyone. It's Big Q from the Sports Coma. Much love to the family members. Appreciate y'all. The PRO Media Network is back at it again. Last year, we gave away several PS4s and games. So this year, we're raffling off a PS5. To enter for your chance to win, simply click the link below and fill out all the necessary information to be eligible. Sign up for the raffle. It's $25 to enter. You gain an opportunity to win a system, the PS5 system. Like I said, it's a one remote and everything in it that goes with the full system. These things are hard to come by. It could be yours. Into the raffle today, $25 get you in. There's also a deal when you buy more than one ticket to up your chances of winning. Jump in there. It also benefits the platform as well. So feel free to sign up for the first annual PS5 raffle from the Pro Media Network. Thank you for participating and much love.